But what could be better than a king?
The hero.
And who better to learn from than a hero? Meet Aqualad, Jason Momoa's protege, and also Black Manta's son? Let me explain. There's your spoiler warning, all right. Aqualad, whose real name is Caldurum, is a relatively new character in the DC universe. He was originally created in 2010, appearing in Brightest Day issue number 4 in tandem with the Young Justice television show, where he was voiced by none other than Carrie Payton. You know, that lion tamer from The Walking Dead.
They see a dude with a tiger, shoot.
However, both mediums have a slightly different version of Aqualad. In the Young Justice animated show, Aqualad is seen as Aquaman's protege and is quickly voted by the team as their leader.
Then I accept the burden until you are ready to lift it from my shoulders.
He finds out that he is Black Manta's son in season 2. And just in case you didn't know, Black Manta is one of Aquaman's greatest foes, and is this bug-eyed Power Ranger who looks powerful as shit. However, this doesn't stop Kaldur from working closely with Aquaman. In fact, Kaldur and his friend Garth save Aquaman from Ocean Master. Aquaman offers to tutor both young guns, but Garth decides to return to Atlantis. Kaldur decides to stick with Jason Momoa, and therefore becomes Aqualad. The comic book storyline of Brightest Day has an entirely different origin story to Aquaman's apprentice. Jackson Hyde, a teenager from Silver City, New Mexico, is taught by his human parents to hate the water and never go near it. However, this is a ploy to keep his real parents from finding him, but more so a way to keep him safe. But after the events of Blackest Nights, a miniseries occurring before the events of Brightest Day, a White Lantern battery helps set off Jackson's Atlantean abilities, and he realizes he can control the rain. Oh my god! Jackson's stepfather reveals that it was Mera, Aquaman's wife, who brings Jackson to his human parents and leaves behind an Atlantean chest for the day he finds out who he truly is. But before he can find out what is inside, Black Manta attacks and almost kills his stepfather. Dart!
Oops. Dart in your neck.
Aquaman, however, intervenes and gets Jackson and his stepfather to safety. You're safe now. They are then able to open the chest, which reveals a map. Hooray! Which leads them to another chest. Hooray! Which then plays a recording of Mera. All right. Who uncovers an incredibly convoluted backstory about Jackson being born. We don't need to get into that, but in both mediums, he goes on to fight and defeat his father, Black Manta, and he even gets tangled up with the Teen Titans at one point. His character eventually gets readjusted in DC Rebirth as a homosexual teenager who reflects his animated version more closely. Aqualad has incredible ability to breathe underwater, like other Atlanteans. He is touted as a near superhuman swimmer. He has superhuman strength, and he can adapt his eyes in the darkest parts of the ocean. He has gills on the side of his neck for breathing. He has an excellent grasp on hydrokinesis, the ability to control water and other liquids with your mind. And he eventually gains water bearers, weapons which allow him to manipulate water even more thoroughly to create shapes, and he can shoot electricity from his fingertips. All in all, it makes sense due to his training with Aquaman. And with that said, only time will tell if Aqualad will make an appearance on the live-action blockbuster big screen with Aquaman. Hell, he's seen in Justice League, The Flashpoint Paradox in 2013, but that's a DC animated film. And he's a playable character in both video games, Young Justice Legacy and LEGO DC's Supervillains. So it's safe to say that Aqualad has entrenched himself as a serious character in the DC universe in a relatively short amount of time. Where would you like to see Aqualad pop up next? Let us know your thoughts in the comments, like this video, subscribe to Gamma Ray, and hit that notification button.